Hey, welcome to the live session. If you ever wondered how you can actually get good at paintless dent repair, this is your chance. We're going to be breaking down some of the real side of learning PDR tools, training, practice techniques, and even traps beginners fall into. And I'm opening up this with you. You can just ask me anything. Okay, so I'm not going to hold back anything except if you want to know about pricing, I will definitely like to talk to you in person, specifically if you are serious. So PDR is not super cheap. Actually, it's not easy to learn, and it shouldn't be a vacation either. So it should be something that you are committed to because you are going to give up a lot of your time, some sacrifices, some family time. You may even sacrifice part time of your job, and if basically if you're trying to transition, trying to be a PDR tech, and you want to ask questions, I'm here to answer those questions. So I'd love to help answer those things for you. And so let's get going. So I am going to open up some of the comments for you guys so you can see what's up. What's up? Big blocks is I don't have my complete what do you call it? I'm trying a new format here, so I'm trying to read the screen and read your comments at the same time, and not try to break eye contact with you guys. But I might have to, so we'll have to see what happens here. But anyways, my name is Mike Toledo. I've been doing PDR for quite a long time. I'm looking at probably going on 30. Let's see, 2001. Yeah, 30. Man, almost 35 years. So um, I wanted to go over you guys about you know what is the what is your biggest questions about paintless dent repair? Some of you guys are already doing PDR. Maybe you have some questions about some of the things you're being hung up on, and so I would like to just see if I can help you out. No strings attached. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to help the guys out there and ladies who are possibly struggling, right? Or maybe you're having a decision like, man, who should I go to this school or should I go that school? I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody, but I will tell you what to watch out for. Okay, so that is going to a school um, is it's basically you have to you have to really understand that is that school really looking out for you? All right. Or is that training program really based around you or is it based around the curriculum, right? Because you just kind of in the mix going in a basic a cookie cutter setting. So that is something that you got to think about. And I'm here to help you answer some questions. Meanwhile, I'll wait for some questions to come in. And if you guys please feel free, I'll post it and then I'll post the answers, or I'll post answers. I'll talk about the answers. Again, I'm trying a new format here, so I'm a little rusty. I haven't been live in this kind of setting in a while, specifically on YouTube. This is only a YouTube live session, so and totally obviously unplanned. So that's why there's not very many people right now because I'm just kind of going off the cuff. If you have a chance to ask, I am going to answer. So let me tell you about some of the things that I see as a PDR beginner and then a technician. And the technician part really has nothing to do with doing PDR. I see the biggest thing about technicians. Let's start with them first, and I'll go to you as a beginner, right? Veteran PDR techs. Let's say you've been in this for anywhere between 2 to 30 years, right? The biggest pitfall with those people in the industry is that they're chasing to be the best tech they can be, which is always something you should consider. But nobody understands the communication about your client, about the pricing, the how to how to be super confident in the value of your service. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed on that. And then most important, understand your client avatar, right? Who is your client? because not everyone can be your client. Sure, you can probably fix all the dents that every customer comes by, and that is within your caliber of skills. But are they the customer that you really want in the long run? So let me see here. What's the best glue for outside with 100 plus temperature? So that's a good question. The best one would be probably Orange Fire at the moment, and hold on, another one called Dent Out Red. You can get those both on Anson PDR.com. Check those out, and plus they actually have a guide. Big, so big boxes, yeah, big boxes. They have a guide on the temperatures and the weather format of which glue is recommended for those type of climates and weather conditions. So that you should go check out at ansonpdr.com. They have the biggest variety of glue you can think of. And to me, in my book, there really isn't a bad one to choose from. So yeah. 100%. I got that now. Cool. All right, cool. Check out red out, or no, Dent Out Red. Okay, Dent Out Red. And you can't miss it. It's red. That one works really good too as well. Okay. So let's see here. I think I did I take it off here. I take it off there. Yep. Okay, cool. All right. So what was I saying? PDR text about marketing, right? The marketing part will always be the challenge. If I was a brand new tech right now, or let's just say I don't know anything about tech, it doesn't, I don't, I'm a great technician. I suck at marketing mainly because I don't understand it. So I hate it. Let's just say I'm that person. I post videos. I don't get any traction. I'm just irritated, but I love doing dents. That's where I shine. That's where I'm going to be, right? That's how a mentality of a technician is. They want help. They want to learn how to do it, but it's time consuming, right? I'm busy. I'm working 10, 12 hours a day. I come home. I don't want to do that. I just want to have my work. I do the minimum. I put my Google business out there. I have a little ads. I put myself on Yelp. I do this. Maybe you're in the UK, there's a different types of way you market, like for paid advertising or something like that. But the main thing is that we're in a condition where PDR training and PDR marketing, this is the pitfall. Nobody teaches people how to market and understand the pricing, right? How to price a repair and not just wing it. That is a huge thing that I see that people fall into. So as a PDR student or a beginner, if I was a PDR beginner and I'm going to go look for training, or I'm going to go buy tools, the last thing I would do, if I know what I know now, is go buy a huge PDR toolkit. So if I was to practice on my own, maybe I want to go watch a Dent trainer, or maybe I still want to keep watching Dent YouTube and all the Dent guys, doing their thing and hearing what they have to say. And I buy all these tools. Now what? How do I use them? Oh, let me try this one. I'll go to Amazon. I'll just buy it. I think I'll be able to. All those tools, got to be some good ones in there. And then you get them, and you're just kind of like, oh, that tool looks like that one on the video that he's using, or I want to get that tool he said, but it's expensive, so I'm going to go the cheap route. So basically, I'm going to read your comment in a second, buddy. So the main thing is that the biggest thing people do is they go buy a big toolkit, and then they don't understand how to use it, and they become overwhelmed and confused. So don't buy a big toolkit. You want to stay with a few tools. And I do have a couple of videos on that too as well, if you want to check that out. So Mike, I'm going to sub to your Dent trainer, and I'm going to know how to make a lopsided dent, perfectly round and symmetrical like you. Yes. Well, that's a great question, because this is a very common thing that happens. So basically what you're saying is that you start on the dent, it looks like lumpy, or it looks lopsided, that doesn't look even. Yes, you will, because let me let me clarify something. The first thing you should know about PDR is the light reflection. Doesn't matter if you're using lines, doesn't matter if you're using fog. You have to understand it first. You have to know without a doubt what a high is and what a low is, and then what flat looks like. And then the difference between orange peel and the dent when it gets small. You have to understand how to move that board. If you don't understand how to move that board, you're going to get confused like crazy. So this is one thing you will learn in Dent Trainer, how to use that board, how to look at it, how to identify what's a high and what's a low. The main thing too is what people do is when they are learning to do PDR is that they go into fixing dents and they use the wrong tip, either for too long or too soon. Some people they'll just use a bare tool, no protection on it, no tape on it to soften the push. And then what they do is they try to hit the center right away. And they try to find where the tooltip is at in the center, which causes unevenness, right? As you were saying, causes lumps and unsymmetrical. Well, the main thing is that you have to understand where your tool's at all times from the outside. Know where that tool's at. When you become really good, you won't have to do that. This is training wheel techniques. All you want to do is go inside and push, right? When you are learning, you want to stay outside and have discipline. Otherwise, you're going to chew your dent up. But you will use those techniques and see those techniques inside a Dent Trainer. You'll have a lot of questions answered and everything starts making sense. So let's see here. I've been watching you. You're like Yoda at this. I just trained a woman 2 weeks ago. Okay. Actually, her last day was last Friday. Do you know that she actually was probably, I'm not joking, she was probably better than 60% of the men I've trained in the beginning. And why do you think? There's only a few reasons. One, she came prepared, meaning I told her as an assignment before she comes to my training that I need you to watch Ground Zero PDR training. However, I only want you to watch 2 specific videos. That's it. I don't want you to watch anything else. You don't have to. If you want to, great. I don't want you to practice, but if you practice, great, because it's still going to show you the good things. But I also want you to make sure that you come mentally prepared. When she came, she was present. She didn't have any distractions. She didn't have any problems. She was focused. She did exactly what I said. Hell, I could barely get this woman to take a break and take a lunch, but she was determined. She was hyper focused and she kicked butt. You're going to see some videos on her later on in the future, very soon. Amazing. But you have to be dedicated. You cannot be getting in your own way, becoming impatient. Oh, I need to get this dent out faster. The faster I go, the more dents I'll learn. No, the faster you go, the more faster you're going to learn to slow down. So yeah, you can kind of, yes. She learns a lot from the Dent Trainer, right? I've trained some of the best technicians in the world, ladies and gentlemen, and I lead people to the water they drink, but the foundation is so solid for them that there's really no room for failure when they can just understand. Failure to me is being confused. You chew up dents, you don't understand what you're doing. You have no idea to go, okay, yeah, I know what I did. I didn't use tape on here. I didn't heat the panel. I went in too soon. I should have switched my tips. Those are things that you should be being able to figure out, right? I didn't move my board. I didn't cross check enough. I didn't switch sides. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the small details that make the biggest difference. It's not the steps. It's not the glue pull. It's not the tap down. It's not the pushing. It's not the tool. It's the technique. It's the understanding of what that metal does. And more important, I keep saying it, you're light. Light, you're light, you're light. Look, you can't, it's your compass. It'd be like having a GPS and it breaks, and then you're going to have to try to go to New York without it. You know the direction. You kind of know the direction, but you don't know exactly how to get there. And what happens? It's either you get there, you might get there, but you're gonna be lost. You're gonna waste time. You're gonna be frustrated. You might not even get there at all. You might as well just you give up, which most people do, because they are so impatient to understand the wax on and the wax off. The details of learning paintless dent repair are huge. 100%, dude. I can't wait to learn the light technique you have. So it is great. Let me talk about the light technique, okay? Since you're asking about it, you're mentioning it. There are two reflections, right? There is the fog reflection, which is the majority of PDR techs out there that use it. Then there are the lines, which is the unicorns. Believe me, I know how to do both. When I was doing hail, I had to have fog. If you're a hail tech, you will probably, most likely, use hail. I mean, excuse me, use fog, because you are looking at 300 dents at a time, and you're about 4 to 5 feet back. And lines, at least the lines I use, would be overwhelming to read. Okay. However, I use fog to push up the center quickly, and I use lines to finish. When I'm doing major big dents, I use half-inch lines. As the dent gets smaller, I go quarter-inch lines. When it gets to average or smaller, I'm eighth-inch lines for the finishing. Eighth-inch lines will make you a very clean tech if you're using lines. Fog, you're going to have to use contrast. You got the fog in front of you, which is basically starting a bigger dent or starting the dent at first, and then you're finishing with the fog further away. That's how I use the two fogs. But I do like one fog, which is warm, and I like to make it halfway broad so I can see the texture, the tool placement, and the dent itself. So remember, fog, what's the difference between fog and lines? Fog is contrast. You're looking at the edge of that contrast fog, and it has dark and light. You're trying to match it into one contrast, which is right on the edge of that fog, whatever color it is. Lines, you are looking at curvature. Curvature is either when it's low, the lines are fat. When the line is going pinched and skinny, it's high. So that is just a quick overview of the reflections. Like I'm not visually telling you, but I can imagine you are just by doing that. So I said, you freak me out every time. You just know exactly what to use. Listen. That's another thing, right? You are going to, if you use 5-6 tools, you will know what to use. If you only use 5 or 6 tools in the beginning to learn how to perfect your technique, you will quickly understand what tool you really need. But I guarantee you'll be so efficient with the tools you own that you'll become way quicker and way better at PDR. It's like this. If I gave two technicians, I gave this guy 100 tools. Like, let's just say, realistically, let's say I gave him 30 tools, right? And I gave this guy 5 tools. Do you really think that guy with 30 tools versus 5 tools is going to be any better or faster at doing PDR than the guy with 5 tools? It's kind of like test yourself, right? When you go into a parking lot and you're driving and you see all these open spaces, which is 30 tools, right? You don't know which one to pick. You don't know where you want to park. But when you only have a few parking spaces, boom, you make a decision pretty fast, don't you? It's the same type of thing, right? And you don't give yourself a chance to know the tool. You just put it in there. If it doesn't do anything or make any kind of contact with the panel and it spins around, you go for the next one. And then you're behind the brace, you don't know it, you go for the next one. So there is a lot of jumping around when you're trying to look for tools, right? And use tools. So those are some of the things that I would, make sure that you only concentrate on some of the tools. Get 5 tools if you can. And those tools, I've said this before, there are some great tools. I'm friends with a lot of these manufacturers. So every manufacturer has a very similar tool of what I'm about to mention. And I'll mention a few. I'm going to mention some main companies that will have the tools I'm talking about. And I'm talking about door tools. They look like a flag tool, right? And it comes down and it's about 22 to 27 inches long. Sometimes they're 18, just depends on your preference of what length you want. But it's a flag tool. And those tools are from Anson PDR, Ultra Dent Tools, PDR Finesse, A1 Tools, Dentcraft, Blem Tools. Those 6 main tool companies are probably the best bet at getting that type of flag tool. Now, some of the tools that you've been seeing me use lately, probably over the years, Ultra Dent Tools, Dent Reaper, and Anson, which is the Door Lord, which is one of the best door tools you can purchase. You definitely want an adjustable handle or a handle that comes off. You don't want a dedicated analog stay there handle. You don't want that one that's welded on and you can't move and you put in different positions. You are going to lose leverage, you're going to lose control, and you're going to lose how clean you're going to be. When you have a dedicated handle that can come on and off and you can extend the leverage on it, you have a huge advantage at pushing that dent out cleaner, having more control. You are just going to win when you have that type of setup. The next tool would be, and that's for the doors, right? It's a blade tip tool. You can use the side of it. Generally, I like to tape it first when I'm pushing on a brand and the new part of the dent. As I get to about 70%, I take the tape off. I start pushing that, get it to about 90%, which is 10% left. I fully take the tape off and I go for it. Now that depends on what's behind it. Is it sound deadening? Is it aluminum? Is it sharp? Whatnot. There are different variations. Every dent is different. So the technique can be the same, but the effort and the technique as far as the finishing is different. So you may need to use heat. You may need to use sharper tools. So it just depends. The other tool, which is probably the Swiss Army knife. This is probably a tool I would probably pick number 1, even though I'm going out of order. This is probably the best tool I would use. Hands down, if you had to pick, you go, Mike, I can only afford one tool with the handle. Obviously, with my blight reflection and my accessories, but one tool. Well, you might even already guess it. That is the double bend screw on tool. And I'd get about 30-inch one. All the tool companies I mentioned already have something very similar to it. The top contenders in my book is Anson and Ultra. They make the best adjustable handle systems for that. A1 has that too, because A1 is in that game too, as far as the adjustable handles. PDR Finesse makes an adjustable handle. They can also make the hub system that you have for any of those systems too. So PDR Finesse, Anson, Ultra, those are the ones that have, I know, the adjustable handles. I'll read you a second here. Let me see here. Let's see. What's up, Adrian? Working on aluminum hood, super tough. Yep, I can imagine. How long you been doing PDR, if you don't mind me asking? I got the 30 from Dentcraft. All right, right on, dude. Right, the Dentcraft has solid stuff. Dude, you probably are using the their Dentcraft, their handles, by the way, you can get an extension for their handles if they screw on. They don't really promote it that much, but there's a handle extension about that long, and they can screw on each end of that handle, and that handle is money. Actually, I love Dentcraft's handles. I cut it off and I put an Ultra quick release on it because I like the handle itself. So yeah, good choice on the tool. Let's see here. So he got the 30-inch from Dentcraft. Yep, that's what I just said that. Okay. My 20 hours behind my tools. Cool. Good deal. All right, Adrian. Well, if you need some advice, just ask me a question. I will give you some thoughts on that, dude. I probably have a lot of insight on helping you do some on some aluminum too. You're obviously going to need heat. I hope you're using some heat on that, and so that's going to help a lot. Let's go. I was going to finish my other tools. So we got the door lord, we got the double bend. Now, the reason why we're using a double bend screw on tip, and I'm going to need to finish my thoughts, because you can switch endless amount of tips on there. But if I was to get 3 tool tips, I would get a soft tip tool, I would get a midpoint tip, a plastic tip, and then I would get a sharp plastic tip. Now, some people say, well, I use metal tips. You can use metal tips, but metal tips get beginners in a lot, and I mean a lot of trouble in the beginning. But if it was me and I had the budget, I'd get as many variation tips, including extensions for that double bend, because sometimes when you're pushing, the tool isn't flat, right? It's not level. And then depending on where your fulcrum's at, right, or your opening, if it doesn't have enough height on the end of the tool, what happens is that you're like this, you're kind of lopsided. Your hand's way down here and your tip's here. And so when you push, it slides back, right? So you don't want that. Put an extension so you're more level and you're more balanced with the push, and you'll see you have way more control and you won't slip. So yeah. Okay, so let's go on. I appreciate you guys asking questions. So I've been using. Oh, let me read that again. I've been using the rod all 2025. I'm getting the hang of it. Great, awesome job. If you don't, what's your real name? There, big boxes. Adrian, let's take a look at Adrian. Say about 100 degrees. I would recommend hotter. I might turn it up a bit. I'd probably, if you're using a plastic tip, probably 125. Using metal tip, maybe 130. 130 at the most. I wouldn't go. You can go 140, but you don't want to continuously go 140 for a very long time, because what happens, and it happened to me on motorcycle tanks and occasionally on a panel, is when you have heat, let's just constantly going for over an hour, what happens is that you're heating the primer underneath, and then what happens is it lifts, right? And it causes a bubble, right? It delaminates from the panel. So make sure you're not overheating it for a long time. If you are, especially when you go to tap down, turn it off. Don't keep it on. Obviously, I don't keep it on anyways when I'm tapping down, but give the panel a break. Okay. But 100 degrees is still pretty decent, but I think you're going to get a little bit more pliable if you go a little 10 to 15 degrees hotter, at least. So you have to get an extension. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let's go here. Let's see. Now the comments are coming in. Let's see. You guys are keeping it going. Good job. Let's see here. Where are we at? On both ends. Yes. Eric. All right. Appreciate it, Eric. Now I know what to call you, man. So appreciate you chiming in. I'll try tomorrow. Scroller head and deck hand tools. Oh, Excalibur. Oh, dude. Where did you learn PDR at, by the way, Adrian? Excalibur is probably the best tools for the bracing, like for the curve tools. They have the best curve tools on the market. You can get those at A1 or Excalibur themselves, in case anybody's asking or wants to know. Those are tools where you have an opening here and your dent's here, and you slide your tool in, and it's because it's curved, and you're able to reach and get to that dent from there, right? Normal tools are straight, right? So what happens? They hit the panel, and you might be able to scoot it over there, but what you're doing is you're scooting a high spot over there too as well, right? And then you have to reverse engineer what you did. So that is no fun. But those calibers, those curved tools really make a big difference on that. So nice. So about crowns, okay? Shoot your question about crowns. I got you. Willie Quick, brother, I found his shop randomly and came to find out his brother is the owner of Willie Quick. Oh snap! Robbing the fam, dude. Robbing the dudes. Hey, those guys are really quick at dents too, man. I tell you that, man. Awesome tools. Awesome awesome guys, man. I cannot say nothing good about nothing good, nothing bad about Willie Quick. Good guys. Of I hang out with Rob every so often. I'll probably hang out with him probably 2-3 times a year at different events, and we even been to Mexico together too. So Rob is the shizzo, dude. So yeah, and his whole team, his sons and things like that. So um good for you, man. Like, at least you got somebody that cared about you. Most people, I would say, at least half the people out there who go do training are trained the wrong way. Really, really bad. Okay, awesome. Let's see here. Okay, so there isn't many PDR guys have, which is shocking. There isn't many PDR guys here, which is okay. What part of town or where are you at? Let me ask you that if you want to tell me. There's some PDR guys, but there a lot of them are just undercover. Some are some are doing like wholesale dealership stuff. The retail market is, to me personally, is wide open. Like there is the PDR has turned into an entertainment business almost on YouTube, right? Like, hey, let's show you the most entertaining way we fix a dent, right? That's basically what if you want to call it now, social media. I call it the entertainment media now. And that's a good thing, right? It makes you raise the way you do PDR, and it gives you something to be proud of, because if you can film your passion, your grit, your drive about what you do, that clients see that, people see it. You might be suck at editing, but you'll get better. Trust me, you will. Okay, Baton Rouge, Iowa. Oh, Iowa. Yeah, I've been out in Iowa, man. I've been to Waterloo, Iowa, out there. So yeah, I've been at Iowa, pushed some hail out there for in 2000. What year was that? 2000. Shoot, what year was that? 2012, 13, things like that. Yeah, actually, yeah, 13, because 14 and 15 I was in Colorado. Um, I'm from Brazil. What's up, Brazil? And I follow your work. The techniques, one very different. Yes, you know what? I have friends from Brazil, and some very good friends. Actually, one of my friends won the contest, Dent contest in Japan, uh, late last year in December. Brazil is technicians are very, very good, very good. We actually I used the Brazilian cold glue called Cola Fria from Sergio's. Fantastic glue, fantastic. So, what are the best screw-on tips for a blending hammer, or what should I use? Now, that's subjective, Eric. That's really subjective. So, VIP has some really good blending tips. So does, gosh, there's a German company. Gosh, what the heck is it? They got some blending tips. Willie Quick has some, but gosh, I can't remember. Like, man, everybody has it's very subjective. Gosh, who's got the? There's somebody off the tip. I'll try to keep that in the back of my head, because I do know there's some very good ones. Titanium tips. There used to be a company that made titanium blending hammers, and they were really, really good, but they were shady. Those people were shady, unfortunately. I'll try to remember. Okay, because I do blend, but I can't remember. Oh, Carbon Tech makes really good. Carbon Tech PDR tools makes really good blending hammers, but they also have good different, like a ball tip blending hammer. So I would say that's pretty good too. Okay, let's see. High current hammer. Let me go. How long? Okay, let me just do this. I'm catching up with you. Now you guys are blasting me, which is good. Okay. What would you recommend to gain customers? Would insurance jobs be your main focus, or would you using social media to help? Okay, good question. Okay. So what would you recommend to gain customers? Would you do insurance jobs, or be main focus? Would you be using social media to help drive PDR? Adrian, I'll be honest with you, all of it. Now, you'd be surprised how many people will pay out of pocket that you think should go, or maybe they would claim as an insurance. Remember, everybody who's PDR techs, maybe you're veterans and maybe you're not, but you don't have a right to decide what a customer can afford, right? All you have to do is remember, am I going to suffer on this dent if I underquote myself, right? So let me go back to your question now. I recommend all the above. Social media builds trust. If you're not in front of the camera, if you're not talking to your client and showing them what you're about and what you do, you're losing, because the person next to you, your competitor, he's out there. Hey, I'm Mike Toledo. If I was in your thing, hey, I'm Mike Toledo. They're going to know Mike Toledo. Matter of fact, it backfired on me so much that they only wanted Mike Toledo to fix their dent. That's a champagne problem. I had to dial that down. That's why you see my tech. If you follow us, you see my tech, Big John. Now they're comfortable with either me, Big John, or Tim, right? I have another tech too. I have 2 technicians. I have to make sure I promote them both. So what I mean is that promote yourself. If you're a one-man band, you need to be the face of your company. You cannot be hiding behind a camera. Social media is too powerful now not to talk about and be in front of that camera. If you want to hide behind it, then get an AI talking about it. But I don't recommend that. But you should get yourself in front of the camera, represent yourself, build that trust. That's the main thing. Insurance, when it comes to insurance, if I had my choice and I could avoid insurance with the customer, I will. Matter of fact, I give them a discount so I don't have to go through that crap. I don't know. Basically, I'm saying, hey, this is your out of pay pocket, but it's going to change if I have to go through insurance, because insurance will drag me through the mud. It is not what you guys think. Yes, they pay big bank, but you're going to be paying the cost of your time and the stress and the back and forth. It's not like, oh, I'm going to make a claim, and then all of a sudden the next day you just got them scheduled in to do the repair. That's not how it's going to work. You have to get it approved. You have to have basically a debate most of the time with the adjuster. Sometimes not, but it depends on the adjuster. They are the jury, judge, and executioner. They have a chip on their shoulders about 80% of the time. So insurance is great, but you got to be prepared for the battle. And then social media, without a doubt, that's the way I would be going. I'd be making videos every day. If I was a new tech, I'm making videos sometimes twice a day. I have to get myself out there. I have to get noticed. I cannot be mentioned if I'm not seen. So I'm going to put and foot plant my identity and my brand out there. So you want to get some ideas? Watch some of my latest videos. Try to do that. The main thing that you guys want to do is establish what you're doing. So I hope that's a little helpful right there for you. How long have you been in the profession that you are? What profession? Fighting. I'm not sure what you mean by fighting, but I've been doing PDR for 30. I'm going on 35 years. Like, it's my 34 years right now. 34 right now, and I'm going on 35. So it seemed like yesterday. I was just 19 years old. That's when I started, and I got into PDR. Let's see here. What are the S tools you recommend to start off with? Oh, 5 tools. Okay, so you missed part of it. So let's go. And I haven't finished yet. And I'll read you guys' questions. Okay. So the first one was the door lord, or a door tool, right? And I named Reaper, Ultra Dent Tools, Dentcraft. I said that. You'll have to replay it too on that. The screw on tip tool, right? 30-inch, because that's your Swiss Army knife. You can put any tool you want on the tip of that, plus extensions. My third tool, is going to be probably a whale tail. Okay, those are my top 3. I personally think everyone should just get 3 tools in practice, but the whale tail or a shave tool. I recommend a whale tail, probably 1.25 inches wide. That'll get you to most dents. The Dentcraft makes some of the best, if not the best, whale tails. Same with Blem. Blem, hands down, fantastic tool, whale tails. You cannot go wrong with either one of those companies, all right? Because they go between the bracing and tight areas. You definitely need to know how to master that whale tail, and you get proficient at getting between panels using the whale tail. You get proficient at using the soft tip tool, understanding not to overstretch the dent or over poke it. And then the blade tip tool, understanding control, leverage, getting between the door panels, getting between some braces in there, knowing how to leverage with that tool. Because generally, people, I think practicing on a hood in the beginning is the wrong way to do it. And the reason why is because when you go onto a dent on the side, it's like hanging upside down, right? You're like, your equilibrium's all off. It's the hardest panel too to work on is the door because there's so many variations. You got the brace on top, the brace in the middle, tight areas in the front, sound deadening if there's some. You got dual pane windows. You got lots of challenges on a door. And why not practice on the door and learn those challenges? Then a nice open hood. You got some braces. Yes, some are aluminum. The only way I would like to practice on a hood first if it was aluminum. And aluminum is going to kick your butt. So I started to go off track. I'll finish the other two in a little bit. Okay. I just want to check out you guys' your questions. Okay. So I saw the Stanliner's pirate hook. Is that worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like in my top 10 for sure. Maybe the fifth or sixth man right there. It's up there. It's definitely worth getting. You can side load it. You can use it as a door tool. You can push front fenders. You can use it on open panels. You can get between some braces. Yes, absolutely. And you want to push with the heel, right? The heel part. You can side load with that. So do you guys understand what the side load means and a direct pushing? So direct pushing would be like this is the tool, you're pushing with the direct. Side loading, you're pushing sideways like this. I can go on and on about how to push and get the best push and invasive in versus invasive. So you have to understand those tooltips. But to answer your question, and it's a good question, yes, that. And I have a video on that if you wanted to look it up on YouTube on there. So yeah, it's a really good video on showing how it works. Brian, what's up, dog? What's happening? So Brazil, good, cool, perfect, man. Brazil Canal. Okay, so are we? Oh, we're still going here. Okay, all right. Let's see here. Let's put this up here. Right, I'll have a first upload tonight. In starting to, I'm reading a small screen right now because I want to make sure I stay connected with you guys. So document my PDR journey. Oh my gosh, that Adrian, that's gonna be great, dude. Like I'm not even finished reading it, but yeah, you use those videos as a resume. Man, are you listening to my conversation today with my buddy Joe? I just said that like every video is your resume, man. Like every video is a resume, right? I think Adrian, you're on your way, buddy. You're on your way to becoming successful both ways, man. Like here's the deal. When PDR techs are learning, they forget about, oh, I'm not good enough to market. I don't need to know that now. I need to do dents. And so you become doing good at doing dents and you get better and you get better and you get better, but you still leave the marketing and the pricing and the value and the understanding about the client avatar and the social media. And you just like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And you're conditioning yourself over and over again to say you're not good enough. And then when you finally think you're good enough, you're panicking because, oh shit, I need to get some money. I need to learn how to do market when you should have been taught that from the beginning and you should have been aware and you should have brought that up along with the value of your service instead of leaving it here and going, oh, I'll do that for $50 or I'll do that for 125 when the market is at $175 to $210 for a door ding. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I really think that you're on the right track, buddy. Show product. Thank you. And I'll try to copy you and aspect. Yeah, just, you know what, Adrian, you want some ideas? Go on my social media stuff. Go on Instagram, YouTube right here, the shorts. Watch the shorts. You'll see it's an injection of value, right? With clients. I'm going after people who care about quality and want to understand about how the process is done. If I can get them to understand the process in a clear, engaging, and entertainment way, I just built that trust. Right? And I can showcase myself here and there, I can sustain that trust, right? So I think you guys are if you can follow that recipe, you'd be good. Okay. How how has PDR affected the body? Absolutely. I'm 50. I'm 54. I'm like, damn, I can't even count my years. I don't have any problems. And Ivan, that's a great question. If you understand body leverage, instead of yeah, this is what I see too. Like I see techs in the door, right? And their arm is way up here because they're using too long of a tool. And you see how the shoulder is up here, like this, and they're pushing like this. They're like this when they should be here, either standing up or get a smaller tool if they are standing up. And you see how my arm, my elbow's hooked in here, right? I'm leaning on that thing. Like I push. First of all, I teach students to push, which is the leverage, and then twist, right? Push, twist. If you don't have a push, you're gonna slide. Yeah, and then plus you're gonna put all that pressure. This is what rookies do. They just twist, right? And they're putting all this pressure right here. And when they put all that pressure there, over time, over years, you get carpal tunnel, you get arthritis. You can really be dysfunctional as you get to 50 years old. It's a great career. I see myself just pushing dents until I'm 70, 75 years old, easy. But it's not because I have to, it's because I love this freaking trade, man. I really love it. I might have to get going pretty soon because I actually have to take my daughter somewhere. But are you trying to ask for me?
Yeah, ballet.
What time?
Now.
No way. Hold on a second. Give me 10 minutes.
No,
I got to close this up.
10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm live right now. Daughter, see? Life happens, man. You guys, 10 minutes, I'll get you there. Life, guys. So sorry. Is the reflection of a line board accurate enough compared to a light? Okay, what do you mean? Like, oh, you mean like a normal light? Listen, absolutely, it's way more. It's like saying, okay, oh, how could I put it? Yeah. Okay, it's like you. Let me say it this way. No, there is no comparison, man. There's not even close to comparison. Yes, you need a true dedicated like PDR reflection light. So regardless if it's fog or lines, you have to get one of those two. Otherwise, unless you like a lot of challenges, you like frustration, I don't recommend you doing that, Brian. So yeah. Let's see. How does PDR affect wear and tear on the body? And is it what you do to mitigate is enough? Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm not going to leave anytime soon now. So I got another 45 minutes. I think did you just answer that or did I see that? Okay, so you asked it again. You asked it in a different way. So, okay. I think I already answered that, Ivan. So, but I do appreciate that question here. Okay, so, well, Mike, thank you so much for all the info, dude. Yeah, hey, Eric, you got it, buddy. So I'm going to be here for another 40 minutes. My wife volunteered to take my daughter, and then I have to leave. Okay. So, if my girl was a better driver, I would have never started looking into this PDR. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, you said if my girl was a better driver, I would have never started looking into this drive. Well, that's awesome, man. The PDR, I think the biggest regret about PDR, guys, is and ladies, because I just trained a woman too, not too long ago, like last week. The biggest regret you're gonna have, and when you get good at it, and or even before you get good at it, is that you just wish you would have done it sooner. You just wish you would have done it sooner. If you're young enough and you're in your 20s, get ready for a great life of opportunities because you'll be financially be doing well. You will have financial, actually, you'll have freedom in all kinds of different ways. You make your own hours. I'm not selling you guys on anything, but damn, if you have some kind of passion for PDR, man, you're gonna absolutely love it. You really will. So let me see here. Thank you, man. Love when I can catch these podcast, but I've got to go get ready and tomorrow and talk to you later. Good luck, Adrian. You got it, buddy. Thanks for tuning in too, buddy. Let's see here. God bless in the family. Oh, thanks, man. You guys are just catching me on this one. Oh, snap. Look who we got here in the house. A better repair. So what's up, Jared? Now, Jared is one heck of a tech. You guys haven't checked him out. He has an awesome flat bar. I'm going to tell you that right now. abetterrepair.com. That is in my top 5-6 tools as well. I would not do a body line without a flat bar, and specifically Jared's. Jared's is an all-around bendable, two-ended flat bar that has it's just a good flat bar. So go check it out. All right. So won't be able to stick around long, but thanks for all you do. And for the PDR community, go to your training with him. And if you're on the fence, man, thanks, Jared. I appreciate it, buddy. I appreciate you tuning in too. Thank you for the shout out too. Let's see what we got here. Any tips for a 44-year-old just starting out? Perfect. Yeah, I have some. So start slow. Listen, if YouTube is getting better, I wouldn't say it's still far from being like letting you learn PDR. You can get a grasp of PDR, what it's about, but I highly recommend you check out denttrainer.com and watch Ground Zero PDR training. The reason why is because it's structured in an order, so you're not jumping around and getting lost and not knowing what the heck you're doing. Because if you do something wrong, you can identify what you did wrong. But to answer your question, if I was you and you want to buy tools, I would only buy about 3 tools, which is the door lord, the double bend, the screw on tip, and the whale tail. Do your research though. Depends on what you're going for. Are you trying to do personal training, or are you trying to learn online, trying to just learn it like on your own? You know, if you are, do the denttrainer.com. If you're looking for personal PDR training, I can help you, but I'd like to discuss it with you to see where your head's at and see if this is something you really want to do. Something that not a lot of people are going to tell you and be very upfront with you is that PDR is hard as hell to learn in the beginning. Specifically, if you don't have the right trainer, you don't understand the foundation, you are getting into a cookie cutter school who doesn't care about you. Do your research, because you are going to have to give up some sacrifices, like your time, some time with your family, partially your job. Like, I'm not saying give up your job, but you will have to give up some time doing PDR. Okay. I'm certified with the Ding King, 80 hours of training. Okay. So let me ask you this, since you just graduated, what are some of the things that you're having trouble? I just want to know, like, what is it? Like, what's specific? And then just looking for ways to start getting my new skill out there. Okay. So, okay, perfect. So now I know a little bit about you. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is, I'm sure you have these 5 tools. I would assume that Ding King, they got better at giving their tools, getting tools. So here's some tools, the things that you would probably use. Take all the tools and put them away, except these 5 tools, right? You're going to need a door tool for the doors. You're going to need that screw on double bend tool that you can put different tips on. And you're going to need a whale tail, those top 3. Okay. The 4th one would be a double bend blade tip tool. And probably the 5th one would probably be a flat bar. Okay. That's probably my go-to, but the top 3, you really need to get some really proficient with that. Stop working on hoods, work on doors. The more you go on doors, the quicker you're going to learn. Because 70% of the dents, at least unless you're doing hail, is going to be on the side panels. Hoods are great. And if you do a hood, you need to get an aluminum hood. Aluminum hood is where you're going to get your butt kicked. It teaches you to be finesse. It teaches you how to tap. It really teaches you way more things than you need to know. It's stubborn. It doesn't have memory like sheet metal does. You're going to need to use heat. There are so many variations. It's less open, right? More braced. I would recommend doing those two things. And can I give you another piece of advice? Learn your reflection really, really good. The more you move it, well, the more detail you're going to see and the more you're going to understand. So I hope that helps. Okay. About how long would you take to get well rounded with the online training to get a dent trainer without in person training? Okay. So I think that's going to be up to you. Again, it's subjective, right? It depends on how well you feel. Like most people who have actually been on dent trainer have done it, but already for like 6 months to a year. But their main problem is they can't finish, right? They're like, man, Mike, I get to that last 10% and it looks different every time. I cannot finish it. No matter what I do, I miss it. I try to tap it down. It just looks messy. It just goes south on me. That is probably the number one thing, no matter if you're a beginner or a veteran, learning how to finish. You have to understand how to finish, and that has something to do with your reflection and understanding when to pass the baton on to the next, basically a tip, like, or tool. So if this tool gets you to 70% of that repair without overstretching, now it's time to switch to this tip where it will continue to bring that dent up without overstretching. And I mean overstretching, I mean the side walls of it, not the center. The center's fine. But when you bring up a volcano, right, and the center's not coming up, it's going down, it's still down, but the shoulders of that dent is still high. Well, now it's a tap down technique now, right? You have to understand how to release tension from tapping down. It's not always pushing. Matter of fact, tapping down is way more important than pushing because tapping down sets up the pushing, which gets rid of the tension. So it's only two reasons why you need to tap down, right? Or need to tap down. Number one, tension. Two, mistakes. That's the only time. Other than that, you shouldn't need a tap down. Try perfecting perfect pushing. Try to be aware of your first 5 pushes. Your first 5 pushes are crucial. Maybe your first 5 taps. You should never tap down a dent if it's flat already. All right. If it's flat on a flat panel, don't tap it down. You need to push it. But understand both, right? And there's a thing called reset, right? There's a huge thing you have to understand about reset. When the dent starts getting messy, start over again. Like tap it down, get rid of the highs, flatten it out, make sure it's low again, nice and clean, bring it up. If it's still messy, you're having a hard time tapping it down, well, then reset high, bring it up all the way high, nice and clean, nice and even, no bubbles, no little micro lows, all nice and clean. All right, so that's something you need to think about. This helps a lot. Perfect. Are we all good, man? So maybe there's no more questions or anything like that. I can't even see like how many people are on because I'm not really looking at things. Maybe I'll take this screen off of there. I'm trying to get used to this stuff right here, man. Trying to get used to it. So what time is it right now? Yeah, it's about 6:49. Well, my name is Mike Toledo. Listen, let me know in the comments if you guys want to do another one. Maybe I'll plan one in the future, and I'm sure I'll get a lot more people who want to ask questions. But I do this kind of thing on spontaneous. That's how Mike Toledo is. If you're new and you're not subscribed, subscribe. That way you'll get notified. Okay. What's up, Brian? How you doing, buddy? What's crack-a-lacking? So I've been talking to students here and thinking that they should maybe ask some questions and I can help answer them. Carl, thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Listen, everybody, I think I could be wrong, but I really feel like I'm probably the most genuine person who cares about your success as a PDR. When I was young, I was lost, man. I was really, really lost. I didn't have internet. My stepdad taught me how to do PDR, and it was scary to say the least. And it's still scary for anybody who's starting out who doesn't know what they're doing, right? Or you paid all this money and now what, right? Some of you might have paid all your, your some of your savings. Some might have had a GI Bill, but you still got to go do it, right? You still got to go make a living. So that's something that, don't give up hope, man. Just stay focused, stay small, and you'll focus really much better. Um, hey, Mike, thanks for all the info and support you are pouring to the PDR community. I appreciate that. Like, listen, it's you know why I do this, because I say that because as I mentioned, I know how it feels to be lost, to make wrong choices, to crack paint, to pull paint, scratch windows, to F up, be humiliated, uh, not feel good about yourself. I mean, whatever you're going through, I've gone through it probably 10 times, right? Over and over again. So I think, you just have to have that determination, man. I'm just starting out, and what struggle with is having the creativity to find a good lever. Creativity, a good lever. Brian, I'm not quite following you on that, dude. So having the creativity to find a good lever. Not sure. Say it again, buddy. So I will try to help you out on that one. The Everyone has their challenges, right? I think you just need to you know, stay small and keep focus. I get discouraged thinking about making. Oh, let me say that. I get discouraged about thinking about making mistakes for sure. So and that's another thing too. Okay, that don't let your head trash be your biggest enemy, which is yourself. Can I say something? My best advice for you guys too: if you're going to charge a customer, you should charge them full pop. Do you know why? Because it makes you a better tech. There's a bigger reward for charging for the value of your service, as if you already been that perfect tech. You're an amazing tech, and you will be. But how you get there faster is charging for what, as if you already there, rather than charging lower, undercutting yourself. That sets you up for nothing but failure. Let me tell you why. When you have a customer who's willing to pay top dollar, but he doesn't or she doesn't know that maybe you only have less than a year experience or 6 months experience, right? You're nervous, which is perfectly normal, but there's a big carrot, there's a big reward, because when it gets tough, and it always does, right in the middle of the repair or just before, there's that thought, man, is it worth it? Yeah, I should have charged more. This thing is hard. You know what? I'm just gonna give up, man, because you know what? They'll be fine. I made it better, right? It's easy to give up. There's a safety net because you already confirmed, you already made choices because you charged low. You're already thinking of ways to get out of it in case you don't do it. But when it's a bigger carrot and it's worth it, you instantly become 50 to 100% better. That's why. What's up, Ashton? Okay, so let's see here. To me, if you would doubt yourself, then practice on junkyard cars before trying to accept money for it. I actually disagree with that, because the reason why is, if you accept money, you have something you can lose, right? You have more. There's no safety net. You go get a junkyard, it gets hard. You're like, add to the next one, add to the next one, add to the next one. You don't stay dedicated. You don't. There's no accountability. Do you know how I got good? My mom threw me out there. I was nervous as hell. And yeah, I wasn't successful on some dents, like obviously a lot, but it made me better, quicker and better and quicker, better and quicker and better and quicker on retail. That is the wrong, that is the biggest, unfortunately, common way that new technicians do, is they go keep practicing junkyard, which is, look, in the beginning, you got to do it. You got to practice on crap panels and whatnot because you're trying to perfect the technique. But once you understand the technique, you need to get different experience on different situations, different access points, different types of cars, dual pane windows, aluminum, high strength steel, body lines, creases, glue pulling. I mean, there's a lot to learn, right? But you have to get that experience. And the quicker you go out there and get that experience, the better technician you become quicker at. So I know it sounds scary, but there's no way around it, right? Unless you go get a wholesale lot and you go work on their cars for whatever price you agree at, you will get huge amount of experience that way. So I think those are some ways to get better or not. So don't let yourself hold you back from getting better at what you do. Matter of fact, I burned the crap out of my freaking finger right there. I don't know that because of glue, like the hot glue. I left it on, like I had my student was handing me a tab and because she put it on too soon, so I was grabbing it and giving her another one and it fell over on my finger and it was a bad third-degree burn. So that's one thing you technicians are going to be joining. You're going to be joining some clubs, and those are, hopefully you don't become a VIP, but the clubs that you're going to be joining are the pole paint clubs, mean pulling paint, the burn club, right? Hopefully you don't do this one, is break the window, and a snail trail means when your tool slips and it causes a giant high spot there. Okay, I definitely find it hard to push myself to finish dents and in scrap parts. There is nobody there to hold you accountable. 100%. That's right. That's why I say, listen, you will need to practice on spare parts or junkyard parts or non-situational panels. But when you put yourself in a situation, you become good real quick, or you learn not to give up so easy. So yeah, it's like this, right? If you have your buddy's car and you have a paying customer, who do you think you're going to do a better job for? And it's the same dent. Let's just say it's the same dent and they're both hard. You're going to give up. I guarantee you're going to give up on your buddy's car. And if you do, you're going to give him, he's going to want a cheaper price, or he's not going to give you a bad reputation. He's not going to be upset, but the customer will. And that's why you're determined. You're like, okay, I'm going to be more methodical about this. I'm going to pick my tool better. I'm going to go slow so I can go fast. That's the difference, right? Let me see here. I remember getting bum a few times by the glue or the tip of the hot glue. Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. Yeah. We took our tip off the glue gun, right? And it's exposed a metal tip like that. Biggest mistake we've ever done. That thing just instead of burning you this tiny, it burned you like that big. So yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think Brian said something. Wait, okay, sorry, Brian. I overlooked you. When you when you put PDR to paint, I mean push to paint, or no, yeah, push to paint. How much of the dent is removed? I think it's better than using a stud welder. 100%, Brian. So what you do is we use cold glue, right? Which we call, like, when we have a situation with a customer where they're like, look, I don't want the whole dent out. I don't need it because I just don't want to stare at this big dent. Or it could be a situation where it's a rental car, or they borrowed someone's car. They just don't want it. They don't want to pay top dollar. So there's a situation we call rapid PDR repair where we tell them, look, we can pull 50 to 80% of the dent out, right? But however, it still leaves the minor waves and imperfections that are caused from that original impact. That cost would be such and such, which is probably a third of the cost that I'm going to say there. Okay. Let's just say $250. But if you want the smaller dents and the imperfections removed, that's where we spend 95% of our time finishing that last 5-10% of those imperfections. That cost would be, and it's usually 3 to 4 times as much as the first option, right? That cost would be $600 to $1,000, right? So it puts the customer in a position, well, okay, cool, I got that option. But no, I'm actually a picky person, so I'll actually go for this option. Well, can we go for option number one first and see what option number two looks like, or go from there? Perfect. We can do that. Know the situation with your client, right? Don't assume that they always want the best repair. You have to ask them. You have to check them out. You have to say, hey, what's the situation here? Is it your vehicle? Are you looking for the best repair possible? What's going on here? Don't say, do you want it look half-assed or do you don't want it look as great? Don't say that. All you let them tell you what they want. Well, it's a rental car, man. And so, I just don't want them to see it. Okay, great. You give them a tier price for what that would be, right? Because you don't have to spend as much time in the end on that as you would as if it was someone's personal car and they wanted perfection, right? So those are a little bit advanced things for as far as understanding the situation with your client compared to just snapping a friggin' give them the best big price because they think that that's what you assume that's what they want. So yeah. Da, da, da. Totally agree with you on using a wholesale account to get better. I did this for my first mentors company and treated it $75. Cool. Yeah. Is this Benjamin? Benjamin, appreciate the comment, buddy. You got another one coming here. Okay, cool. So cleanups like retail jobs, I did drill holes, but my goal was to make the panel as glass as possible. Benjamin, there's nothing, and like people shame on people about drilling holes, but it is part of the PDR process. However, it's not the beginning of a PDR process, right? That's your last resort in general. I have a good friend named Paul Corden. He taught, dude. We had this. He's a very good PDR tech, and he's a very good communicator. He's well known in the industry as well. So I roomed with him one night, and he goes, "Mike, can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "Do you charge to drill holes?" I looked at him and I said, "What? What do you mean?" He goes, "You charge?" I'm like, "Hell no! Like, why would I do that?" He's like, "Well, because you could. What's your other option?" I was like, "Well, I mean, the other option is probably take off the panel and whatnot." But I mean, like, he goes, "Well, yeah, this is what I do." And so what he said is that he gave it's without looking incompetent, right? Because sometimes we do have to make an access point, but that's not always the case. Sometimes we can take off the panels. But what the biggest mistake that a lot of companies and technicians make is that they will actually take off the panel and not charge for it. Or because they know they have to take off the panel and they don't charge for it, they won't even offer it because they would do it pre bono, right? But what Paul says is like, hey, listen, this dent here is going to cost $350. However, I have two options for gaining access to this dent because it's blocked. I can't go through the window. For $300, I can take out the glass, I can take off the panel, and we could do it that way. Or for just $25, I can make an access point to the side. But we can use that access point in case you ever get another dent in the future. What would you like to do? Do you see? He left the customer with options. And it basically quickly identifies the customer. Are they that picky that they don't want an access point, which they will never see anyways because the door is going to be closed and it looks factory? Or are they willing to pay Paul or myself $300 to take off the panel, take out the glass, and do it that way on top of the $350 debt? So now you're at $650. More than half the time, and I'm talking more, probably about 60-70% of the time, clients vouch for it that, hey, I'll take that access point. That's generally a way to make an access point, not just volunteer, hey, make a hole, because you will look incompetent. You will look like you're hurting their vehicle. So that gives them a customer an option. Some people say, I don't want any holes, I'll take it to the body shop. Those people, unfortunately, they still are not as educated at that, or you didn't do a good enough job to explain it to them, right? Because we all know that body shops are way more invasive than making an access point where no one's going to see and it's plugged and it's sealed. So a little bit of insight on that. Okay. Let's see here. My question was let me read that there. You got a good one. How is usually have trouble finding a good access point to make a proper push with the crate cavity, and I end up stuck for a long time without making progress in the dent. I think that's a two-part question. So you're saying, like, how do you know where to make an access point? That's It's hard to explain because it's a case by case situation. If you're talking about a door, I definitely would take a wedge and open and put a little flashlight, stick it down there and see where it's going to be, where your access point would be, or open up the door, look for what do you call it? Those weld spots, right? That is a no-no. You don't want to be freaking drilling where those are because that's a plate there. You generally want to like tap your finger and listen for a hollow sound. And then if you do make an access point, it's only a pinky away from the edge, not out here, because chances are you're going to go behind a brace, right? So I know it's hard for me to explain because it's a case by case scenario. So I hope it explains a little bit, Brian, but good luck on that, dude. Perfect. Thanks. I appreciate that, Benjamin. Um, okay. Howdy, Dent guys from Denver. Well, I'll tell you what. No, you guys don't have that accent over there. I've been to Denver. Let's see here. Maybe suggest that get more speakers inside the doors. Presto, new access spot. That might have worked in the 80s and 90s. Everybody wanted a speaker. Everybody wanted some music then. I think how long has it been now, gentlemen and lady? Like it's 7 o'clock. I got 5-10 minutes. So if you guys have any more questions, I'd be more than happy to ask or answer. Let's see. You still have your silver Civic? Oh, Brian, Brian. No, buddy. I sold it 2020. Was it 2020? 2023 for 15 grand. So I do miss it, but I don't wish I had it back. I mean, because it was a good sale, man. I got something cool for it. Yeah, I know. I have been dabbling a little bit in the EG series, like a 92 through 95, somewhere on there. So that's something I'm looking at, but I don't know. I don't know if I would pull the trigger. So um that's it. I guess I'm just gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna save a lot of other things for people, unless you guys got a S2000, dude. Hang on to that, buddy. I hope it's clean as a mofo. Hang on to that. Hang on to that. He's got an S2000. Those things are going for money, man. Depends how clean it is. I will save my own thoughts for the future one. Let me know, even people afterwards, if you guys would like to see another one at some time in the future. Maybe we'll do it on a Saturday. I do have some different announcements coming up, ladies and gentlemen, for some cool things. So let me know what you guys' thoughts. That's it. I'm kind of rambling on now because I can't see. I'm going to change it from here. I'm going to move my screen over here, and now I can. Here's the camera, but I'm looking at my monitor now over here because now I don't look so ding dong. But I guess I got to practice. You know, what's crack-a-lackin', Dent Remover? Hey, if you guys haven't seen him, dude, what's your handle on TikTok? Is this the same as it's the same, right? So watch him on all the social media, right? He's got a great channel, you guys. So he's from across the pond there, Milton. So everything else is good. So I'm glad everything's good. When are you coming to Florida? Are you gonna be at Florida at all? By the way, maybe. All right. So here I'm gonna still go in here. So one of the only tools I'm missing in the door that hooks under braces. How often do you use that? That's a good question. I don't use it often, but damn, I'm glad I have it. You know, Dent Reaper makes a really good kind of a door tool that slightly hooks, and it's got so much kick you can just tilt it down and get. Now we're talking the middle of the panel, right? It can get up there. Really good panel, a good dent tool. The best, in my opinion, right now, the best hook tools is the Blem ones, the Blem whale tail hook tools. So, and they're kind of like like angled a little bit left and right. Go check them out. Blem Tools, and look for the whale tail door hook tools. Freaking fantastic tools, man. Really good. I've heard that technicians break glass very often despite wearing glass protector. Are there cars that access should not be used? Uh, oh, geez, I try to stay away from dual pane glass, not laminated. Or excuse me, I stay away from dual pane laminated glass, not tempered glass. I hardly ever broken a laminated, or excuse me, a tempered glass. I would be very cautious about laminated, specifically Dodge, Mercedes. I mean, let's put it this way: if you're working at a front door, from the middle of the door towards the handle is danger zone. It's very tight. It gets very tight as you go towards the handle. On the rear door, it goes from the middle of the door towards the driver, right? That's very tight. You have to watch out. And a tech tip would be just raise it up. If you want to work on, take a chance, I would raise it up like 2 or 3 inches, use a metal window guard, and use an air wedge, slightly open it up, and use the skinniest tool you can. I don't care if it has flex or not. Use the skinniest one you can, because you don't want to be applying a lot of pressure on that. You will break it. So be careful. But I charge at least $300 to $600 to take the door off, take the window out, if I need to do that, on top of the dent repair, because I don't want to be responsible for that. Okay, I have a question. What's the hardest pulling glue tabs? Okay, well, uh, I okay, not in any order. Gangrene tabs, Dent Reaper. There's a new one that just came out, but it's not out yet. It's called the Stay Straight tab from Black Plague. Anson, the newest, latest ones. Anson's, they're kind of like they look like they're kind of amber looking tabs. They have a Texas sign on them. They pull hard. Willie Quicks, there's snaps pretty good, but they break though. But they do some damage, like on the dent. They will pull that dent hard. Um, Gosh, who else? I guess I'm trying to open my drawer, right? And I'm thinking, okay, which tabs do I want? Oh, there is the finishing tabs from Anson. They're like pink tabs. There's the dentless tabs, right? I haven't used them a lot, but when I did, they pulled really hard. And I know I'm probably forgetting one or two. Oh, the tornado tabs. Holy crap. They pull really hard. So those ones right there, you cannot go wrong. So those, I hope that you pick up some of those. Someone needs to do a review on those. I watched the glue review video. Okay, so yeah, you're probably right. I could probably fit that in there, right? But it's going to be subjective, because people, PDR techs, have their favorites, right? It's kind of like you have a hammer and you get used to something. You don't want to go to just something different. However, a good technician knows that favorite tab on any given day might not work. So they have another tab and another tab. It also depends on the humidity, temperature, all that. The climate, it really depends. And what time in the morning, if you pull in the morning or you pull in at night. So it's really going to be subjective. And the glue has something to do with it too. Take the belt molding off also. Yeah, actually, very good suggestion. Absolutely. I highly recommend that. So you're right. Take the belt molding off. I couldn't find the Anson ones. Try the dead dent. Try the dead dent. Look on Anson, type in glue tabs. You'll see the amber looking ones. So try dead dent. I think that's what it's under. I'm pretty sure I'll check out the tornadoes. Yeah, the tornado tabs pull really good, gentlemen. And so do the Reapers. I'm sure you probably checked out the Reapers. I actually prefer the purple Reaper ones over the yellow ones. They just seem to pull harder. I'm talking version 2 of the purple ones. Okay, so what would be a good first all-around pushing tool for starting PDR? The double bend screw-on tool tip, that 100%. Double bend screw-on tool. The manufacturers I recommend, it would be Ultra Dent Tools, Anson, Dentcraft, PR Finesse, Blim. They all have them. A1, they all have it. Get it long enough, 30 inches, not longer than that, not too short, because if it's too short, you won't be able to use it in the hoods in a certain length. So definitely get a 30-inch and get a variations of tools and extensions for it. And if you can afford it, get the adjustable handle that comes off. Okay. I appreciate the info. You got it, buddy. Double bend for sure. So he agrees with me. All right. So the one size of dead dent center of Kiko is that dude. See, I told you I was forgetting. Like Kiko's tabs, the dead center tabs, ice tabs, blue tabs, they pull fantastic as well. Yes, absolutely. That I knew that was the one I was forgetting. So thanks, Brian, for remembering that, dude. So you're 100% right. The smaller tabs these days are pulling like a mofo, man. Pulling like crazy. For you new techs, the best thing you do is do not size up the tab with the same size of the dent. That's a big mistake. What happens is that you end up pulling the shoulders, but you don't pull enough of the center. And then you're going backwards because now you got to reset the dent. You know, you're gaining yourself you're guaranteeing yourself extra steps if you're lucky. Use a smaller tab that will fit, not too small. I'm talking like a size. As long as you see the shoulders, you're good. If you don't see the shoulders of the dent, it's too big. Like unless you're experienced and you know exactly what you're doing and you know what you're trying to do if you got a super sharp dent. But I recommend just going a little smaller, not crazy too small, because then it won't work that way. So let's see here. Da da da. Thank you, Brian. I'll check those out. Lots of good advice here. We got some veteran techs here, some good ones. Use light slide hammers with small tabs. Yes. Yep. He's got a good point there. You can take a lighter slide hammer. Anson makes a freaking great lighter slide hammer. I think it's on their other store called PDR Outlet. And it's on the Anson PDR. But what he's saying too is take a light slide hammer and you can actually, instead of sliding that weight all the way down, keep it up quarter way, ding 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 pop, or just pop like right here instead of down here on the shaft, right down, not all the way down the shaft, just up a little bit higher, like 25% up to the top, right? Bang bang, right? And then he's right. That's what you want. Yep. He's giving some good text. A little bigger for tab for aluminum, in your opinion. Little bigger tab for I recommend a mini lifter when you're glue pulling aluminum if you have a flat area, because what happens is that feet isolate and pin down the metal, keep it from flexing, right? So when you snap it, you're going to get a more violent pull. My top three ones again, right? Your gangrene, your dent reaper, your tornado tabs. They will pull the crap as of currently right now. They will pull the crap out of that freaking dent on aluminum. If you are same tabs, if you're going to use a slide hammer, I prefer definitely anytime I can use a mini lifter on aluminum with that tabs. That's what I'm going for, because I don't want to mess with the center. It's too much. It's too springy. So that's what I want. I'm a big fan. So let's see. I've only ever used the mini lifter. Oh, okay, cool. How do you do on the rails then? Like on those curvy Honda curved rails? How do you do on that? Sergio Colafria, opinion. I'm definitely the blue right now is my favorite. There is some gold. Gold has been super strong too. That's kind of one of his latest ones. He did message me. He's telling me he's got some new formulas coming out. I have yet to see that yet. That was probably 2 months ago. So you'll probably see it again at the show probably in Florida. I don't think he's going to the one in Vegas. There is a show, by the way. I forgot to mention that. There's a show, a Vegas PDR Expo, they call it, in Las Vegas. It's September, the third week of September. So hopefully I see you out there. I don't go every year, even though it's kind of in my backyard, but I'll be there this year. Hopefully I see you guys there. Okay. Never had an issue. Okay, cool, cool. Well, anybody else who uses a mini lifter, just be careful and aware that the feet on the rails, if you are using specifically if you're pulling a bigger, deeper dent, right? Those rails could have they could be very light and delicate. So those feet can actually dent down as you're pulling the dent out. So be careful on that. I generally just 90% of the time will use a slide hammer. If feel entitled to use a mini lifter, what I'll do is I have my hand, the right side of my palm, grabbing one of the feet. And then as I'm lifting, as I'm squeezing, this side is pushing against the rail and I'm lifting it up. I'm lifting both of it up, lifting the mini lifter up off the panel so it doesn't dent down. How do I know? I know. So anyway, so that's what's crack a lacking, gentlemen and ladies. If there are ladies out there watching today, and when you do watch, ladies, I'll be out there again on the next video sometime in the future. This is Spontaneous Mike. That's what they call me, Spontaneous Mike, Mike Toledo from Escondido. So I'll talk to you guys later on the next video. I hope you guys enjoy your evening. Thanks for watching with me and hanging in there with me. Take care.